There is a hidden curse that comes with becoming more conscious, more awake, more psychologically alive. It is not the bliss that spiritual cliches promise, but something far more demanding. The unbearable weight of seeing what others refuse to see. Carl Jung understood this intimately. He lived it, and he called it the burden of consciousness. The deeper you wake up, the less you can tolerate the collective games of society, not because you are arrogant, but because pretending to be asleep after you have truly opened your eyes feels like betrayal. Every conversation demands you dim your light. Every role asks you to wear a mask. Every crowd pressures you to dissolve into unconsciousness. And so, without anger or drama, many of the most awake people begin to disappear. They leave careers, fade from social media, withdraw from noisy relationships. Society calls it antisocial. Jung called it survival. Society itself runs on collective unconsciousness, shared illusions, mass projections, agreed-upon shadows. That is not a bug in the system. It is the system. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You notice the scapegoating, the outrage, the endless cycle of shadow projections. Wars fought against reflections, politics driven by mass psychosis, social media turned into a theater of unconscious pain. To participate feels like consenting to madness. So the conscious quietly leave, not because they hate the world, but because their psyche refuses to be poisoned by it. This is the curse of consciousness. You can be surrounded by people yet feel utterly alone, speaking a different language, seeing through a different lens, moving inside a different reality. It is exhausting to constantly translate depth into surface, truth into performance. Jung himself withdrew to his tower at Bollingen, where he could live as himself without masks. He wasn't escaping humanity. He was protecting his authenticity. Withdrawal, Jung said, is archetypal. It is the hermit phase, a necessary retreat where the self integrates without interference, where the shadow is faced without collective denial, where silence allows you to hear your own soul. It is not weakness. It is preparation. In solitude, consciousness matures into something society will one day need but cannot yet receive. This is why so many conscious people today feel the irresistible pull to disappear. The world of personas, roles, endless projection, it becomes intolerable. Maintaining consciousness in unconscious environments drains life energy like pouring water into sand. Some develop fatigue, illness, depression, not because they are broken, but because they are expending their hard-earned awareness in places that demand unconsciousness. The cure is not more performance. The cure is withdrawal. But this disappearance is not forever. Jung emphasized that the hermit eventually returns, not to the noisy center of mass society, but to the edges, the margins, the sacred spaces where consciousness can breathe. They return as artists, healers, teachers, guides. They no longer participate in the unconscious games. They create small containers of authenticity, depth, and truth. And slowly, they become beacons for those ready to awaken. This is evolution in action. Not everyone awakens at once. The first wave disappears, gestates, and returns with gifts. What looks like abandonment is actually architecture. They are building the structures the collective will eventually need. So if you feel the pull to withdraw, know this: it is not failure. It is not escapism. It is the path. You are not antisocial. You are becoming too conscious for the collective container. Withdraw with purpose. Protect your consciousness. Let yourself disappear, not to reject life, but to preserve the seed of something greater. And when the time is right, return with the gifts only solitude can give. This is the curse of consciousness, yes, but it is also its blessing.